Welcome, race fans. This is Paul Page, the voice of IndyCars. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse IndyCar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, Foyt, and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Gardner, and Team. You can expect high speeds, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you could only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your engine.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gatzo. Welcome to RaceVerse coverage of Round 5 of Season 7 of the Dark Horse DW12 series, coming to you today from one of the crown jewels of IndyCar racing. But this is the Michigan International Speedway, but this is the Legacy Michigan International Speedway, so it's the bumpy version. Joining me in the booth, he's a regular participant in the IndyCar Oval Series, and he's a contributor to Zlotnick.com. Please welcome Ryan King. Ryan, you have been on this Legacy version a number of times. It is really bumpy, but there's probably a reason why we're using it, is that this car and this tire model probably agrees to this older track version. But what else do we kind of expect today? You've seen some in practice. What do you think?
Ooh, it is going to be close, tight. It's going to be a pack race. There's no other way to put it. It is hard to find a version of this car and this track where you could get, say, more spread out, passable racing. To be honest, on the current version of Michigan, it would likely be even worse. The Legacy version of the track with, the bumps and the undulations, it makes it a bit trickier to hold close to people in corners.
Yeah. But
we're still going to see people try it.
Minutes 13 left to play here in qualifying. Stouffer to the top, 224.997, almost a 225. Peterson 224.8, Teed 224.7. Mark Murphy, my program partner early in the afternoon today, he's in the lineup 224.7. JB 224.5. And we still have 51 seconds left. Let's bring up the points really quick. And those are the old points, Gary. That's disappointing. We will bring in the new points here just a second. As more times are coming across the... Here we go. There's the new points. And then we might have to adjust them on screen just a tick, but here they are. There they are. And Eric Schaus is your leader, actually tied with Matt Wagner. Edson Jose Santos. So we know Mr. Santos. He is in the lineup today. Edson Santos. He is third in the standings. Stouffer fourth, and Jari Brubacher fifth. The very tight corners for basically fifth on up. And this kind of how they always consider in stock car racing we don't have them anymore, but the kind of restrictor plate races, kind of the wild cards of the playoff and whatnot. I expect this could be possibly one of those danger races that someone in the points is possibly going to take a hit today, getting caught up in someone else's incident. And I hate seeing that stuff, but that's kind of what happens in some of these races. Real quick, before we get into this, the rule set for today, 100% fuel. Unlimited tires, 1 fast repair still. The pit road speed limit is 55 miles per hour. Of course, this is a 2-mile super speedway, 150 laps, 300 miles. So get everybody tucked in here, or get your popcorn, or get settled into your favorite chair, what have you. We are in for a long race here at Michigan. And with that, let's take a look here at the starting lineups before we get into anything else. And starting from the pole, Craig Forsyth. He actually got the pole position there. I'm trying to find. Oh, Gary, here, let's do this. Now let's do this, Gary. That's better. There we go. You got to fill in the blanks to make everything look professional. Craig Forsyth with the pole speed, or the pole lap of the 32 flat. Chris Stouffer right behind him, 0.004 right behind him, lining up third. Eric Peterson lining up fourth. Charlie Teed, Mark Murphy fifth. Edson Santos sixth. He's looking for a finish to a weekend that's been kind of mediocre for him. Finished second in a fuel mileage race that really should have been his in the Vore DW12 series at Gateway on Friday. And since then, his car was in the IR18 race they had there. His car, I think he was in those races, kind of mid-pack, and then today he got taken out early in the IR05 race. So looking to finish out his weekend strong. Matt Wagner, where we're seeing him again on the program, starting 7th. Yari Brubacher, JB in 8th. Eric Schaus, one of your points leaders there in 9th. AJ Hobson. Of course, you can't have an IndyCar race without AJ in the lineup. P10. Jim Herrick with the 4D guys are lining up 11. Doug South making his first start in the series. And we'll talk to Doug here. Talk about Doug here a little bit later. P12. Gary Corley 13th. Lee Kane, by God, it's Kane 14th. Aaron Hobart 15th. Casey. Now, how are we going to say this now? We've been instructed. How do we say the name? Casey what? Pahutsky. So sorry about that, Casey, but you are a fellow Pole, so I'm also a Polish as well. So many apologies, but I'm sure you can forgive a brother. Ikaro Perego, I hope I'm saying that right, in 17th. Brad Adams, 18th. Jeff Heisong, back in 19th. He's one of the Lionheart contributors that I've Lionheart competitors that I've run it. He's back in 19th. I'll expect to see him up at the front. Elmer Joseph in 20th. And William Swinson in 21st. And I think, and this is where my overlay has an issue, and I'll need to talk to my dev about this. It doesn't show Joseph DeCiro not lining up here, so we'll have to get that fixed. Joseph DeCiro starting 22nd, and William Swinson in 21st. Getting ready to go racing. Here we go. Bringing them down very, very slow. Green flag in the air. Here we go. Craig Forsyth's going to lead them down on the 1. Stouffer on the high side. Teed and Peterson following, going into 1.
Well, to make it through the first 2 corners.
And on the high side, Stouffer takes the lead. So the 4D guys, and it should be pointed out, 4D did sweep the front row. So expect 4D to be very strong today. And I do expect Jim Herrick to get up with this group. And he's also in a 4D sponsored car, a little bit further back, kind of one of the very foil-looking car, one of the sharper paint jobs I like. He'll be up there eventually with those guys. But we're still 2x2x2, kind of exactly how we started.
Yeah, because once the race develops and everyone further back, it's time to move up. We're going to really see the pack start to form.
And there you go. So, how the tree works here, since we have now 22 cars in this field, as Brubacher goes to the tail end, Something happened to him. I'm not sure what happened to Brubacher. He's by himself.
I can take a quick peek on that.
But you will constantly see the top 10 in the left side there, and then the remainder of the field will cycle through beyond the 10th spot there. So Doug South there in 10th. We'll get the camera there on Doug. And the OMF sponsor car, we'll talk about that here a little bit. He is coming to us from, although he is a native Hoosier, he is coming to us from Australia. So check the ping time, guys. And here comes Edson Santos kind of shooting up the middle. So we're watching just kind of everything developing. Everything's so far clean, although there's a bit of a gap back from right behind Lee Kane, back to Pahutsky. There is a bit of a big gap there. So not sure what happened in that second group, leading Casey Pahutsky in 13th. He is joined by Brad Adams right there. They're kind of in a group by themselves. Then Joseph DeCiro is leading a second group by himself. Haisong is right there with him. I'm not sure what kind of got back and separated those groups, whether they're shooting for automatically or trying to get into a fuel savings situation. But the danger they face right now is falling too far behind the leaders.
Yeah, I think looking through the replays, they're either intentionally hanging back or they just don't have the speed.
Well, Matt Wagner says don't talk about that race earlier. And let's take a look real quick at the race conditions. We'll get the weather up on the screen for you. There you go. 86 degrees track temperature. That's pretty hot.
Yes.
Not the hottest we've seen ever. 69.1 ambient. Check out this shot here right down on the wall. Now they're starting to go to the high sides in 3 and 4. They can serve those tires.
Yeah, because especially of the legacy version of this track, yes, you can back race for as long as your tires allow you to.
Heat on the bottom. Actually, a wheel on the yellow line there. A very clean opening 10 laps here at Michigan. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If you haven't done so already, make sure to smash like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Finding about 40% of you watching at home are not subscribers. What are you doing? Just to subscribe. We love it. And click the bell so you don't miss out on future RaceVerse broadcasting. And as we were talking before, our schedule is pretty packed between now and June. So anything that you're looking for in terms of IndyCar style racing, we're going to have lots of it here on RaceVerse between now and the middle of June. And you name it, ovals, road courses, super speedways, short tracks. We're going to see it all. DW12, IR05, IR18, everything that in the past and present in IndyCar history on running on iRacing, you're going to see it here on RaceVerse. Teed to the front, down the back stretch. Yeah, this lead group is really starting to put some distance on that next group behind. I think it's like 3.8 back to that next group.
Yeah, that second group, they're going to have to hope for a caution to catch back up.
Yeah, that's kind of what to do. Lee Kane, we'll see here on the left on the tree when it gets to see Lee Kane there in 12th, the purple number. That's because he has the purple lap, a 32.7, but he is getting full benefit of this entire line of cars punching a huge hole in the air for him. But further back, here is Puego and Hobart. Again, I hope I'm saying Puego right. Iker Puego. Pregero, maybe? Again, if we're saying your name wrong, just feel free to hit us up in the Dark Horse Discord and let us know how to say it. I am the butcher of names. That might actually go on my headstone when my time comes. Here you got so. Here lies the butcher of names. But again, I'm back with Aaron here. So there's a town in Indiana called Hobart, but if you live up in the region that Hobart is, it's Hobart. So I'm assuming it's Hobart, his last name. It's not Hobart, but it can't be any worse than calling Worcester Worcester. In Massachusetts.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
Or the other one in Massachusetts that gets me, it's back. We have a new leader with Peterson here, and then Teed Stouffer and Forsyth Mark Murphy also involved. The other town in Massachusetts that gets me is Peabody. No. Peabody. But it's spelled Peabody. Like I don't know where Biddy becomes body or body becomes Biddy, but there it is.
Yeah, because I went to college in Pittsburgh, and outside of Pittsburgh, there's a small town. If you're reading it off the sheet and you're familiar, you're probably going to say that it's Versailles, Ohio. But it is, in fact, Versailles, Ohio.
Yes. Versailles. As the French roll over in their graves. Oh, that's why we hate you Americans, because you can't say the names right. And Mark Murphy and the Miller American to the lead. Doug South. Look at him on the bottom. And we do need to talk about his sponsor real quick. He gave me a real quick note on his sponsor. So the OMF is the Open Medicine Foundation. It leads the largest worldwide nonprofit effort to diagnose, treat, and prevent chronic complex diseases such as myalgic, encephalopathitis, chronic fatigue syndrome. There it is. Post-COVID syndrome, post-treatment Lyme disease syndrome, and fibromyalgia. OMF envisions improved health care for patients suffering from chronic complex diseases with a collaboration between the patients, clinicians, and researchers. So that's what it's been helping him with his life and his lifestyle and well-being. And he has got him on the side of his car for sponsors. Of course, right behind him is Chris Stouffer, 4D Racewear. They're, of course, big sponsor of the series. Make sure to check out 4D Racewear and their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Check them out at 4dracewear.com. I don't have a web page or anything about the OMF, but I would imagine if you search them up on YouTube, well, definitely YouTube, but definitely Google Open Medicine Foundation, I'm sure you'll find a website. Check them out. But their car that Doug's put their name on the side is P6 at the moment. We have now gone 20 laps of caution-free racing. This is a big change from the weekend. We had an attrition fest Friday night with the DW12s at Gateway in the VOR series. We had a pretty good doubleheader in the VOR IR18 series at Gateway. And then the IR05s today, earlier today at Gateway, kind of had a bit of a rougher race, but not as rough as the DW12. So lots of cautions. So far, no cautions here. So hopefully, Ryan, I just didn't give it the broadcaster's jinx. But I think everyone's tires are kind of wearing out. Everyone's in single file and going up high.
Yeah, it seems like you can't really get enough grip unless you kind of peek out into the clean air and obviously take the inside line because it's a shorter way around. Besides that, it seems like the strategy today is just hang out single file, run through the first pit cycle.
Last lap by for Mark Murphy in the lead, punching the big hole in the air for everyone behind him. 217 flat. Stouffer's deciding he's going to take a peek to the inside, try to get a jump on T. I think he does there. Murphy, Wagner, Stouffer, Peterson, Teed, Schaus, Forsyth, South, Santos, Herrick, your top 10. We're very quickly coming up to the first pit window. We're probably in the 35, 36, 37, 38, somewhere in there.
Yep.
Just trying to think. I mean, these are the same size tanks as the IR-18s. Of course, the IR-18 is a DW12. It's just the IR-18 Aero package that they have added to the car. Of course, this is fixed setup racing here, so everybody has the same setup. The DW12s in a fixed setup scenario do not have access to their tools. So everything you hear about on the IR-18 side of things, anti-roll bar, wheel jack, or a weight jacker, engine mapping, all of that stuff, that is no longer adjustable in these particular cars. So the best way to work your way around this in traffic is your foot on the accelerator, maybe the brake, and your eyes and definitely your hands on the wheel, being as smooth as possible, trying not to scrub speed off. You don't have access to those tools.
Yeah, and arguably IndyCar racing without the in-car tools is more difficult than with the tools.
Oh, yes.
Because you could kind of shape the way how the car drives around your driving style with the tools.
You can save fuel a lot easier with the engine mapping. Now, you do have access to the brake bias. That is one tool that you do have access to. These guys might want to move the brake bias forward or back depending on how they plan on attacking pit road coming up very, very shortly. 26 of 150 in the book. Thanks for everyone joining us. Altena Autosport in there. What race earlier? The one Altena Autosport one? Yes, the race you won, Julian. Because Julian has won in the IRO5 series the 3 of 4. I think you won 3 of the 4, and then the one he didn't win, his teammate won. So their team has swept so far the season in the IRO5 series. Everybody in single file. Looks like Lee Kane is starting to lose touch with the fact that he cannot lose any more space between himself and that pack. Otherwise, he's going to be out of the draft. And I think he's out of the draft now.
Yeah, I think he's fallen off. So that's the thing with the dirty air here. Yes, you want to hang out in line, stay in the tow, but especially through the corners. The dirty air gets progressively worse the further you are in line.
Yeah, that's true. And the purple lap has now moved to Chris Stouffer. As you see the purple number next to his number up on the tree there to the left. Stouffer turned a 32.5. Of course, at his 100% draft aided, or tow aided, of course. Watching the battle between Brad Adams and Casey. These two are trying to work together to try to run down Lee Kane. And let's try to see what are they actually closing the gap to him? I think they are, actually, very slowly, but they are. 2.3 up to Kane from there's Lee, and then there's Casey. 2 seconds up to Lee, so he's about a half second away from getting into that draft envelope, and then maybe they can join up with Lee and then get together and try to run down that lead pack again. But First pit stops, we've said, are coming up very quickly. We're now 30 of 150. And before we get there, of course, IndyCar, long-time tenant here at Michigan International Speedway, one of the former tracks owned by Penske, no longer owned by him anymore.
I jokingly refer to this place as the Raj Mahal.
The Raj Mahal. The USAC track record, because USAC ran here back before in the pre-kart days. They used to run 2 races a year here, typically a fall and a spring race. Typically, they're right around 200 miles, 100, I think, just 50 laps or 100 laps, 100 laps for a 200-mile race. They're very short. They're like sprint races. They didn't get into 500-milers here until the 80s and after the closure of Ontario. But the USAC track record here, set in July of 78, it was a monumental speed of the day, at 211.392 miles per hour set by Tom Sneva, and that was faster by 11 miles per hour than the previous year, just to kind of tell you the capability of those cars. Those cars were nowhere technologically advanced as what we're watching today, even in the DW12 period, but they were still capable of putting up, as you see the last lap by Murphy at 2:18.9. Okay, so think of cars back in 1978 turning 211, only 7 miles per hour slower. That's not an awful lot. Yeah, that they were flying.
The equivalent of landing on the moon with a cell phone's worth of computing power.
Right, exactly. Paul Tracy has a kart record, set that in 2000, which I think that's where the pinnacle of IndyCar speed technology peaked, right there about 2000. Of course, that's the year that DeFerrin set the closed course record at Fontana with a 240 or 241. But Tracy set the I still think it's still the track record to this day, 234.9 here at Michigan. And then when the IndyCar IRL series came here, Thomas Schechner holds the pole speed, or the largest speed, or the record. If I could talk, it's been a long day. 222.4 set in 2003. So, I mean, we're talking doing 218, and they're still a little bit slower than those. Would have been IR03s at the time. They didn't change that package until the 05 season, and then they were IR05s until the very end. The IndyCar career wins leaders here. This includes 500-mile races and regular races. Johnny Rutherford has 4. He is your career leader, and there is Stouffer hitting pit road first. Stouffer coming to pit road. He is the first to bite at lap 35. Also on pit road, probably not a bad idea. Everybody else behind him. Oh, wow. The whole second pack says, you know what? We're just going to follow and see what the leaders do. And they all come down. So that is Putski, Adams, Hobart, Heisung, Peguero, Elmer Joseph, William Swinson, Yari Brubacher on pit road. Lee Kane looks like he's coming off of pit road. I think he just stopped. Yes, he did on 35. Joseph DeCiro also just stopped on 35. And A.J. Hobson, I must have had an issue from earlier. He stopped on lap 13, but he is back underway, and the Fuzzies throwback there. So Wagner, now your leader. As Mark Murphy is coming down pit road. He blinks on 36. Peterson to the lead. And I think Peterson is coming to pit road. He's throwing in the towel at 37. Interesting strategy from everyone in the back. I don't know if they are all working. Let me check the voice channels on the Discord. Are they all in the same channel? They're like, screw it, we're going to work together. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. They all chose to go win the leaders. 3 wide down the backstretch. Easy, boys. I know some drivers got to get. Yeah, I know some drivers need to come in, and we got Wagner coming in. We have Forsyth coming in. Oh, guys, careful, careful, careful! We got a car coming to the wall. Who is that? Is that South? That's South.
Yeah, it's South into the attenuator.
And let's see if we got a. Just kind of locks it up and. nowhere to go, and boom. Now he could get that to a stall. If he can get that to a stall, he'll get the fast repair. But that's going to cost him some time.
That could have been the caution.
Yeah, it could have been a caution.
Was looking for.
And it looks like a couple of cars might have hit pit. Oh, he slides through. So let's. A couple of cars might have had issues on pit road, and we're seeing Santos on pit road now. Saw a couple of cars sitting there long, so they must have had some penalties. And there goes Schaus. There goes Herrick. I told you there's a Herrick car in the number 40, that 40 Racewear. That's a slick-looking paint job. I like that. He's been running that for a while. I told him I would do a 40 Racewear if he made me that car, and instead of the black, make it white. I thought that would look pretty cool. I'd run it for him. And Schaus way out in front over as we cycle through here on lap 40. And when I say way out in front, I mean this is the largest lead we've seen all day by a leader. 3/10, and we're okay. He was.
Here comes the tail.
Yeah, here comes the pack. And I was wondering why he was slowing down. Well, the pack was that much faster than him. I thought maybe he might have had a penalty. He was going to hit pit road. Schaus in the F14 is falling back into the pack here. Probably where it wants to be anyways for fuel conservation. There is Mark Murphy, one of the first to blink. He is back there. He's within the draft. Hopefully he can run this group down. The first to blink was Stouffer. He's fourth. So I would imagine Stouffer pitted at lap 36. We'll see him at 76, somewhere in there. 72, 73, 74, we're somewhere in there, yeah. Just trying to do the math in my head. Bring up the old calculator first. But the 40 race cars right now sitting in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Good job for that team. Told you Herrick would be up there eventually.
Yeah.
Edson Santos, though, is your leader. Again, trying to bookmark his weekend with another podium finish. Started Friday with a podium in the Vore DW12 series. Should have had the win, but just it was a fuel mileage issue. Didn't make it to the end. Gary Corley gets his first career win by virtue of staying out and having a little bit extra fuel mileage, but I'm sure Edson probably wanted that win. Bit of an attrition fest. And he was one of the few cars that kept his nose clean and green, but just came up about 6 laps short when it came to fuel. Still finished on the podium, but I'm sure he wanted that win. And he is right now running point here for this 300-miler that we have in the Dark Horse DW12 series. Thanks for joining us, folks. 44 of 150. First round of pit stops are done. Let's run through the field. Edson Santos is your leader. Matt Wagner, P2. He is one of your points leaders. Eric Peterson and P3. Peterson's been up there all day. Jim Herrick. He is up 7 spots. Told you to watch out for him. He is now up the 4th. Stouffer started on the front row with his teammate Craig Forsyth there in 5th and 6th. Eric Schaus, your other points leader, because we are tied at the top of the points right now, folks. Schaus is 7th. Murphy, back in the battle, has run this group down. And that is your top 8. A little bit further back, Gary Corley, almost getting into an incident on pit road. I think cost him a little time. He is back by himself in 9th. Teed by himself in 10th. I'm not sure what happened to his pit stop. But then we have some of the second group that we saw forming, and they all pitted at the same time, led by Casey Pahutsky and Lee Kane and Brad Adams. They're kind of in a group right now, trying to run down Teed. Back in 14th, kind of by himself, is Jeff Heisong. Elmer Joseph there in the Interstate Batteries car, running with William Swinson for 15th and 16th. Joseph DeCiro in 17th, kind of running by himself. AJ Hobson in the fuzzy car, kind of running by himself right now. You really need to be running with another car, ideally, in this package right now on this speedway. Yari Brubacher, he's back there running with Doug South. Doug South had an incident coming to pit road. It's cost him a little time. He is down a lap. Iker Peguero Again, hopefully I'm saying this right. I've said the name 4 different times already this race, but I'm deciding on Peguero. Peguero back there, the Snap-on Tools Dallara. He's in 21st, 2 laps down. And Aaron Hobart, not sure what happened to him, but he is out, classified in 22nd position. That is the full field rundown here at lap 47, getting closer to the lap 50 mark.
Rough numbers in my head. It'll probably take 2 more stops to even think about the finish line.
And Mark Murphy, not only, and we missed this all, not only did he run down this group, but he passed them all. Everyone just let him go. He's gone right to the front. Murphy, now your leader. You know, but when you're making your first start of the season, you're not in the points championship. I mean, you might as well and get yourself on TV, so to speak. He is my broadcast partner for my Sunday afternoon race in the VOR IR05 series, and then on the Monday evening race with the ISRA Truck Series. And kind of up front says, "No, sir, you lead. No, you lead. Okay, I'll go ahead and lead." So Mark Murphy at lap 50 is your leader. So I was talking about the career wins leaders for IndyCar here. Johnny Rutherford has 4. There's Wagner going down low in the 3, going to get the lead. His last career win came here in '86 in a race that I just like watching the race. I don't know why I like watching the race, but it was an attrition-filled race and interrupted by a number of wrecks, interrupted by weather. But I just the way that JR just kind of persevered that race and brought his car home. He won that. It was his last win, finishing second that race, and his best career IndyCar finish, that career finish period. Jose Lee Garza finished second in that race. Of course, Michigan was back then the race known for introducing first-time winners. Go think of Pancho Carter, think of John Paul Jr., you think of Scott Goodyear getting his first win here. I believe Emerson Fittipaldi got his first win here. For the longest time, this is where a lot of first-time winners got their wins. But this is where Johnny Rutherford got his last win here. But he had 4 wins, 1 500-miler, and then 3 of the non-500-mile category. Gordon Johncock also has 4. He's tied there with Rutherford. Gordy won the 1 500-miler in '82. So in '82, he had 2 jewels of the Triple Crown won. And he was doing pretty good at Pocono, but it was revenge of the Mears, with Mears kind of losing out, of course, at Indianapolis, kind of losing out here as well, getting that win at Pocono to secure no Triple Crown winner that year. Of course, only one driver has only won the Triple Crown in IndyCar history, and John Gordy is one of the few that has come remotely close. Al Unser Sr. won the Triple Crown in '78 when it included Ontario, Indy, and Pocono. Bobby Unser, Uncle Bobby has 3 wins here, 1 in USAC, 2 in kart. Mario Andretti has actually a 500-mile win here that you didn't hear him say. Mario is slowing down. He got the win in '84, but he has 3 other wins here before that time. Rick Mears has 3 wins, 1 500-miler in '91. Of course, Rick won the '91 Indy 500, so this is the other close to the Triple Crown winner. He won the Indy Cup 500 '91 and the Michigan 500 in '91 here. Bobby Rahal just won 3 races of the non-500 variety. AJ Foyt, believe it or not, never won a 500-miler here. He only won the sprint races here, so he got 2 wins here. Michael Andretti won 2 500-milers here, if you can believe it. After all his luck at Indianapolis, he has 2 500-mile wins here in '87 and '89. Scott Goodyear, we mentioned him getting his first win. His first win was on the 500-mile race in '92, so just think how close he could have come to winning at least 2 jewels of the Triple Crown. There wasn't a 3rd jewel that year. In '92, he won his race here, and then the odd one, and he also won in '94. Careful, fellas, as they get around Peguero. Very good handling. Careful, careful, careful. He's just trying to stay out of the leader's way. Good etiquette on everyone's part there, giving everybody room. And Goodyear got one here in 92 and 94, and they got that 94. That was a last win for Bernstein Racing when they had the Budweiser sponsorship. Tony Kanaan has 2 wins here. Got one in kart in 99, and he won here in the IRL in 07. He's one of the few that actually kind of won one in 2 different sanctioning bodies. He and Uncle Bobby did that. Bobby won one in USAC and 2 in kart. Kanaan won one here in kart and 1 in IndyCar.
And it really illustrates how difficult super speedway racing is. Like, yes, there is an element of luck, but just you need to be a good driver. You need to be able to get around the track well, but there is also a lot of attrition involved. Not just avoiding accidents, but also something that we don't have to think about in iRacing, the mechanical failures.
They do happen on open setup races. We've seen that happen before, especially if you block too much of your intakes on the IR18. We've seen that happen before. I can count on my hand, though, the number of times we've seen it happen on RaceVerse. I think 3 times. One was it was an odd fix race. Were you in the booth with me when RAL went to Dover and Dakota the Maid blew up?
No, I was not here for that one.
Okay, so Dakota the Maid, friend of the program, blew up at Dover in the draft, and he just leaned the car back too much, and then it overheated it, and he blew it up there. And then we had one in the, I think we've had 2 blow-ups in the IndyCar Oval Series. Not IndyCar Oval Series, IndyCar Open Series. So it happens, but you're right. Back in the day, back before, the engines these days, the Hondas and Chevrolet engines that you see on IndyCars these days, they are bulletproof. Granted, they're running basically the same engine they've run since the DW12, just about, give or take.
Yep.
So they've had a chance to really work out the kinks in the engines. It used to be back in the day, especially in the 80s, there was a new engine every year that Ilmor was coming out with, or Chevy was coming out with, or Ford was coming out with. Cosworth is another one that was big back in the day. And they would grenade on a regular basis. And the number of Michigan 500s that we would see, just some car just blowing up and smoking for mosquitoes in the woods. There was no mosquitoes that night in the Irish Hills because he was putting that much smoke out the back of his car, grenading these engines. You do not see that very often at all in IndyCar racing. In fact, I can't really think of an engine-related failure at the Indy 500 here. If someone could think of it, put it in chat.
The last one I can remember was
Alonso.
Alonso
was one last one I kind of remember. Yeah. And before him was Hinch, I think, in the same race. But I can't really think of any time where they just blew that thing up.
Because now you just get, like, the weird glitches, the misfires. So, like, St. Pete last year, we had Pato's plenum fire that cost him the win.
Or you overheat a special black box and you can't restart your car. Much like Will Power had happened to him. He lost the win that way.
Yep.
But as someone that has had as we call mechanicals here on our computers from time to time, I can actually absolutely relate to how he felt.
When it's completely out of your hands.
Well, it looks like everyone is kind of running in line. Not a lot of passing going on. Everyone is trying to hit a fuel number now. We do see Murph and Wagner. Murph and Maddie up there. They are kind of swapping the lead back and forth. Eric Peterson following suit. Just kind of following, hitting the number. Edson Santos, same way. A little bit further back, we got Charlie Teed running down Gary Corley. They should be in contact with one another here soon. Schaus is at the very back of this group, so it's a top 8 altogether. So Corley and Teed together right there. They should be getting together fairly soon here. Teed can run them down. Hysong, he is in a group of 5 cars led by Pahutsky, Adams, and Kane. And Elmer Joseph, sorry, the Interstate Batteries car is in that group as well. A little bit further back is William Swinson by himself. And Joe DeCiro, also by himself. Yari, JB, he needs a good points day. He needs a caution to shrink this field back up. He's in a group of cars that are one lap down at the moment. Yari is the last car in the lead lap, but he has A.J. Hobson and that is Doug South with him. And Pagero is also by himself. So a number of drivers really wanting a caution to kind of shrink this field back, but this is your lead pack. Chances are someone from this group, this is where your winner is going to probably pop out of.
Yeah. And everything is looking fairly calm now, but we're going to have another cycle of pit stops. Someone would have a problem flowing down for pit road. Anything can happen. Team radio chatter about potentially pitting soon.
Yeah, and if we look at the first to pit last time was Chris Stouffer at 36. So just doing the math, and we are in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's
72 would be his number, so he's probably due in about 4 laps. There is Stouffer. 4D Racewear team picked up another new driver recently on for their driver lineup, Richie Hearn. And yes, if that sounds like former IndyCar driver Richie Hearn's name, that is former IndyCar Richie Hearn.
Oh.
the guy that won the Las Vegas IRL race, survived to win that one. The guy that finished third at the 96 Indy 500. Yeah, that guy, yeah, he is on the 4D Racewear team there with Herrick, Stouffer, and Forsyth. And he might make an appearance in a 4D car when we see the ERL, the Elite Racing League, when they have their IndyCar race. Their Indianapolis 500 races, was one of the more prestigious ones. I don't know if you saw the lineup for it, but 48 cars, I think, more than that, possibly, are going to make attempts. 48, that's how prestigious that 500 is. And I get to actually join that broadcast for the first time, so I'm looking forward to that. Seeing Richie and TK will be in the lineup, RC Anderson. Of course, they all have to qualify, but they will be taking opportunities to qualify. And when I say TK, I meant Tony Khan. Yes, not Tony Khan. Tony Kanon.
Yeah, but we're sort of easing our way into a 4-stop race.
We have been clean and green the entire time. I believe the fastest 400-mile IndyCar race was held here. And I believe that was set in 2003. And I think, okay, let's see if that is Murph going to come to pit road here. Not sure if that was him just making a low pass. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just a low pass.
That's a low pass. I think the fastest 400-mile IndyCar race was ever held here, and that was in 2003. And Sam Hornish, I want to say, won that race. So it's not unprecedented to have a clean and green IndyCar race. Despite all the pack races we've seen here on Indy Fixed and in the IndyCar Oval Series when the big ones occur, we've seen a 400-mile race go clean and green. Okay, here is Murph making that turn down. He needs to get down to pit road speed of, let's see, what do they say, 55?
Yeah. 55.
Which is actually pretty fast, but at this speed, you might as well be crawling. Number of cars on pit road already getting regular service, it looks like. Hysong, Elmer Joseph, Swinson, Brubacher, Brad Adams also on pit road. And we see some cars coming off. And that's about the only strategy they have at this point is pitting early. And here comes the field around Mark.
And this, ideally, you'd like to get up to speed and try to get the toe.
Well, all these cars in front of him are still going to have to stop. So he just really needs to get up to speed as most rapidly as possible. Let's see who makes the turn down pit road this time. Nobody. So Santos wants to take a couple turns at the head of the pack. Following through is Peterson. Peterson across the nose of Wagner. Wagner underneath, getting a look on the low side going into 3. Peterson now coming down. Peterson wants the chance at the front. He might also be looking at a pit stop. We don't know yet. We'll see. No takers this time by. One taker, Wagner. Man, he came on the pit road fast.
I usually don't like to see people leaving it that late.
Figueroa coming on the pit road behind him. Okay, now the leaders are actually within range, kind of getting close to some lap traffic. Peterson, the Brad Adams, is 2.2 seconds at the moment. And Peterson coming to pit road. And with him is Stouffer. So Stouffer goes 5 laps longer than he did in his first stint, and that's just by kind of riding the pack. Figueroa down and away and making room on pit road for these two. And this is a quick battle for position right here. Stouffer and Peterson, they are right side by side, down and away. Peterson down and away. Stouffer down and away. Wow. Peterson got a good launch out. He has it tucked back in behind Stouffer. Here comes Wagner and Murphy. They will join these two. Forsyth, now the leader, with Jim Herrick, P2, Eric Schaus, P3. Going deep in this run, boys. Deep, deep, deep. They're looking at Forsyth went 39, Herrick and Schaus both went 40 the last time. So they're looking really in the next lap or two, lap 80. They might have saved some more in the pack here. We'll see. But lap 80 for their next stop, give or take.
Yeah, because this race is fairly marginal between a 3 and a 4 stop race. If you could save enough fuel, you could cut out that extra stop.
All right, here comes Craig. Get it down, Craig. No speeding.
Yep.
Now we turn it over to Herrick. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if you cut out that extra stop, that is an automatic win. There's just no way anyone can catch you, especially if we go green the entire way.
So right now, the last two to stop for this second stop, and I think the reason why they ducked to the inside is that was their non-verbal cue that they're coming to pit road, and Herrick and Schaus are coming to pit road now. Herrick not giving a lot of room to Schaus on the outside. Herrick's going to have an earlier stall than the Schaus, so it'd be important for Herrick to hit his marks in the number 40. There's his spot coming up right there. On the mark. Good job. On the mark for both of them. Up on the pneumatic jacks, a new set of Firestone Firehawks on each one of them, filling the tank to the 18 gallons. Jim Herrick waiting. Come on, Jim. And do we have a penalty? I think he has a penalty.
Oh, no.
Oh, and that's brutal. Schaus down and away, 9.6 seconds. Jim Herrick speeding penalty on pit road. So one of the three-headed horsemen for the 40 Racewear team is now down to 2 heads. But their leader is their teammate, Craig Forsyth, the leader by 7/10. That's probably the biggest. That is the biggest lead we've seen all day. Edson Santos P2, Schaus P3, Stouffer P4, Mark Murphy P5, Wagner P6, Schaus right there just rejoining in P7. So we did say that in that group of 8 before, the winner was going to come from that. Unfortunately, now we're down to a group of 7. as Jim Herrick sped coming to pit road and had a 40-second hold. That has dropped him well back into the order and by himself on the racetrack. I'm sure he's not happy.
Yeah, because he'll be more than a lap down. He'll need a caution to get back in. Well, more than you need 2 cautions to get back in.
Charlie Teeds lost contact with that lead pack. He is 8th all by himself. Gary Corley, 9th all by himself. Lead by God, it's Kane. Still, he and Casey Pahutsky, have been buddies all day. These 2 cars have been together for a good chunk of the race. Brad Adams was also involved there with those guys. So this is 10th and 11th. AJ Hobson, he is in the Fuzzies Ed Carpenter car. And 12th, William Swinson back leading a 3-car pack with himself, Jeff Hysong, who is a lap down. And who else is with him? That is DeCiro. So Swinson and DeCiro is a battle for position. But unfortunately, it looks like Hysong might be a lap down, so I'm not sure what happened to him. 3 wide down the front stretch, giving a good show.
Yeah.
Brubacher is 15th. Sorry.
Yeah, Craig taking the strategic drop back to the back of the line.
Now, Forsyth, we'll take a look there, yep. He wasn't saving any fuel by leading that group, so.
Yeah.
And Santos, Santos, hey, look, I got a sponsor. Leaner Energy's my team. I got a sponsor on the side of my car. They need TV time. I'm going to the front. So that's exactly what he's going to do. He might still be banking for some caution, we'll see, but he is going to keep his foot in it and not really worry about trying to save fuel. They have leaders in front of them by 7 seconds that they'll encounter. They'll continue going through the field. Jim Herrick's fallen back to 16th. Jeff Hysong 17th. Elmer Joseph in 18th. Brad Adams is in 19th for position right there. Doug South is in 20th. That is a battle for position in amongst that group. And Peguero is right now running on the apron in the front stretch, trying to let the leaders go around him. Peguero is 21st, 3 laps down. He'd like to see a little bit more attrition. Oh, Peguero, and that was Lee Kane. I don't know if they were really expecting that.
I don't think they were.
Because I know Peguero's been trying to stay out of lead, staying out of the way of everybody, and he went down low on the backstretch, and I think Lee was not sure where to go, so he went low too, and almost an incident there. Back up front, Edson Santos is your leader. If you enjoy RaceVerse coverage of the Dark Horse DW12 series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future iRacing broadcasts here on RaceVerse. We have a ton of them coming up tomorrow. ISRE Truck Series Championship Monday. We will crown a champion in that series at Fontana tomorrow. Then the IndyCar Oval Series, official iRacing Series, 8:15, our signature program that we run here, 8:15 on Tuesday. Top Split, they will be at Gateway. We'll see a number of these drivers in that, or at least a couple of these drivers in that Top Split race. Then coming on Thursday, the 18th, the Formula Indy Series goes to Brands Hatch. You guys got to check that out. If you have not checked out the Formula Indy Series, definitely check them out on iRace. They are, right here in RaceVerse and iRacing. They have regularly 30-plus cars a race show up. This is an IR18 road course series with only one oval, Indianapolis. That's coming up here soon. But they regularly put 30-plus cars on the grid every single week. They have 2 divisions, a professional and an amateur division. So there's always action on the track at one point for a battle for position, whether it be in the standings, overall standings, or in the race standings. So check them out. The Formula Indy Series, their key signature is standing starts for Indy cars. So that's on the IR18. So that's always fun to watch. Check them out on the 18th here, 8:50 p.m. Eastern here on RaceVerse. Then the IIS returns this week. Of course, this is we're coming up to our next NTT IndyCar Series stop of the 2024 season. That's going to be Long Beach next Sunday. We will be racing. When they race, we race first. And we will be racing the Long Beach, the top split IIS race Sunday, 2 p.m. or Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Check that out. That always gets a lot of eyeballs. And then we'll be back at Gateway. Gosh, it seems like we hardly left the place. We'll be back at Gateway one more time next week here for the DW12 series as they go to Gateway on the 21st. And then it just kind of repeats all over again, guys. So if you have a style of racing you like, especially when it comes to IndyCar, look us up here on RaceVerse. We are 92 of 150. We have at least one more stop we're looking at before we can go to the distance. Is that what your math tells you as well?
Yeah, pretty much. There's one, maybe two cars that have a chance of making it on a 3-stop, but who knows?
Bruno Martin's in chat. Rafael Eckert, oops, too late. Yeah, I think there might have been a time change that occurred elsewhere in the world recently. So, yeah, we would love to see you, Rafi. We know that you'd be right up front as well. Of course, your teammate right now, Rafi, is leading the way. Not saving much fuel, but leading the way. Last time by Edson Santos, 2:16.5. Tonight's race coverage helped brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their made-for-sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com. Link is in the description. Check them out. They have their cars sitting there in 3rd and in 7th. And let's ride along with Mr. Forsyth. And there we go, over his shoulder. Breathing the accelerator a lot there, saving fuel. Not even 100% down the backstretch. Of course, he pitted last at 80 and went 41 laps. So that would get him into the 120 neighborhood. And then good to go. Anyone else watching at home would like to check the series out? I believe we have a link for the Dark Horse IndyCar Series Discord in the link description, or in the description. And you can click on that and join the Discord and register to be part of the DW12 series. Yeah, it's in there. And you can also visit Dark Horse Series, DarkHorseRacingSeries.com for more information. But this is one of the longest running, continuous running DW12 series currently on the service. I think outside of the Lionheart DW12 series, the old Speedway series, which you and I ran in the last time they ran. They're taking the year off. Hopefully we'll see them back in 2025. And this is kind of the unofficial RaceVerse, kind of the unofficial home of the DW12 right now. We got two of the more active DW12 series, this one and the VOR DW12 series, which they call their Iconic series. Of course, Iconic was the name of the program that eventually developed these cars. That acronym.
I don't remember what it stood for, but they definitely had some unique ideas for this. For what the DW12, what they wanted it to be, because they wanted to have two separate cars, an oval car and a road course car. We never got the road course car.
So it was part of the Iconic project. And while we're watching Craig make laps here and listening to him saving fuel, as he is doing a lot of lifting right now, the Iconic plan stood for innovative, competitive, open-wheel, new, industry-relevant, and cost-effective. And of course, these cars debuted in 2012. A lot of development, a lot of testing done by Dan Weldon. That's why they call them the DW12. And these cars are still in use today in the NDT IndyCar series. These tubs are what makes up the IR18. And as we said before, there's an IR18 aero kit that gets slapped on, and not slapped on, more like snapped on, screwed on. And that makes up the IR18. But it's the same. Some of these tubs that haven't been fully destroyed in the NTT IndyCar series go back to 2012. Some of the tubs in these IndyCar series cars might be older than your children that you have at home. And that says a lot back in the day. Back in the day, IndyCar racing, every year, back in the 80s, especially when the costs started coming up, back in the 80s, every year, back in the 90s, every year was a new engine, a new chassis. And if you were running old equipment, they typically had like an update kit, but it was never, you were never quite competitive in old equipment, if you remember. Unless other people were old equipment with you, and that's the 1996 Indy 500. But
well, they always mention it on the broadcast at the start of every season, who was running the year-old cars.
Yeah. I mean, I believe in that 92 race, there were 90 Lolas out there. 1990 Lolas.
Oh. In
that 96 race, I think there were some 93 cars out there. Of course, that 96 race had all year-old equipment, and they were waiting for they didn't want to do any new equipment that year, because then the next year everyone had to buy new equipment with the G-Force or the Lara, and then pick an engine, which was the Aurora, which later became the Chevrolet, and then the Affinity, which later became a dud. Although I believe the Affinity did win one here at Michigan, I think. Thomas Schechner, I think, did. Yeah, he was racing for. He was racing for Eddie Cheever, but he was really racing for his job at the time when he won that race, because he had the Indy 500 won that year. I think this is all wrapping into that. He started the season wrecking his boss at Homestead, I think. And then he had the Indy 500 won and wrecked, ending his day. But he pretty much had the thing won, and then of course he won the race here. I want to say, was that 2002?
I'd have to look this up really quick, but I'm pretty certain it was 02.
Okay, Edson Santos says, you know what? I'm tired of letting you guys have fuel mileage on my account. And he's going to the back. 2002 IndyCar, Indy Racing League. Yeah, that was Red Bull Cheever Racing, Thomas Schechner. And it was the first year, I think they came back to Michigan, so it was a Michigan Indy 400. Yep. Schechner swept. He got the pole position, fastest lap, most laps led, didn't lead them all. Santos going to the back. Got a car, a little puff of smoke on pit road there, and he won that race. So that was, I believe, the first win for the Infinity engine. They had some special engine that not everybody that had Infinities, and there was only a handful of people that had Infinities that year, we're gonna be able to get an equal shot at. And I think Cheever even passed it up and gave it to a Schechner for that race. And really, if Schechner did not deliver on that race, I'm sure that probably he would have been fired at the end of that weekend. I think it was that close for Thomas Schechner. But that year's Indy 500, I think he was leading. I'll double check here. We'll look into history. I think he was leading late. Yeah, on lap 173, after leading 85 laps in the race, Thomas Schechner slid high in turn 4 and crashed against the wall down the front stretch. Under the yellow, the leaders pitted. Exiting the pits, Gil DeFerrin lost a wheel that wasn't secure, fell out of contention. But gambling on fuel, Elio Castroneves stayed out and took over the lead. and arguably won the race, depending on if you're talking to Paul Tracy or not. Poor Paul Tracy. I remember listening. I was at the track. I was at the race that year, and I remember listening to his radio because he was clearly the fastest car in the closing stages of that particular race. And we knew it was just a matter of time. And speaking of fastest car, not the fastest car right now, Eric Peterson, last time by, a 2:10.5. They are really, really trying to. Nobody wants to lead. That's the thing. Everyone's trying to hit a number, and now we're starting to crawl. Let's check out. I bet you if Charlie Teed and Herrick can get together there, they might be able to run that group down. They're on the backstretch at the same time.
Because I think they're reaching the point where they realize that the three stop is still possible.
Yeah,
but
Teed's only 4 seconds behind this group. Of course, Teed's pitting now. So, all right, thanks for making me not look smart there, Charlie. That's okay. That's not a very hard thing to do. With Charlie Teed on pit road, should be for his last stop.
Yeah. The thing is, yeah, if you stay out, if you can make it as close as you can to 120, you can ensure that you don't have to come back in again.
Yeah, so he's gone, Teed's gone 36 on this stint. Current stint's 35. Previous stint was 36. So he went 35 and 30. Okay, 36 and 36 is what the computers give him credit for. He's got to go 39.
That's a problem.
That's going to be a problem. Peterson, 212.9 last time by. But, yeah, I remember watching, we were in the turn 4 stands. We saw that Tracy was clearly the fastest car, running Elio down. And at the time, I wasn't the biggest Penske fan. I kind of, when the lines of the Civil War were kind of drawn, I thought that, and I understand why the drivers over on the kart side were as angry as they were, but they came off as extremely bitter and petty. Yeah. And even though they might have been the better teams and they had the better drivers over there, what I did like that the IRL did do is it gave drivers a chance that otherwise would never received one because of the kart hierarchy, a chance to drive an IndyCar and a chance to succeed or fail with their own talent. So if that never occurred, never would have seen Buddy Lazier probably win the 500. We probably would have never seen Ari win his second 500. We probably would have not seen Cheever win the 500. We probably would have never been introduced to Kenny Breck. Here comes Eric Peterson to pit road. But after 99 and when 2000 got there, when the kart team started to hit, then the kart teams kind of asserted their dominance and really showed that they were the better teams. And that's all they needed to do in the early stages is kind of shut up about it. And it's Murphy and Peterson on pit road. But they kind of ran their mouths. And at the time, I was like, they kind of came off as bullies to me. And I was like, I'm gonna root for the IRL. And so when kart did come here, and then everyone kind of did the switch over, and they exerted their dominance, but they did it in a way that they weren't like saying, "We told you so," you know. So that kind of made things a little bit better. So
where they had to race for their wins.
Yeah. So I did not want Penske to win another race that in 2002. And I don't care if it was Elio Castroneves or not. I didn't want him to win that race either. So I was rooting for Tracy, even though there was a kart team. It was just somebody new. And it was also a driver that tended to run his mouth as well. And that would just be funny to hear some of the things that he would have to say to win. It's debatable whether he actually had that pass pulled off. But I remember listening to the radio, and he thought he had the win. And he was, don't let Paul Tracy fool you when he says that these cars were crap wagons, as he called them. He really wanted to win that race, because when you hear him yelling in the radio, woohoo, we won, that was genuine. So don't let Paul Tracy fool you that, you know, I think winning the 500 in either a crap wagon or winning the Indy 500 in the Beast, which he drove one of those back in that year, he would have taken either one, to be honest. So Santos now back to 5th. Craig Forsyth still out, has not pitted yet. They pitted on 80 and 81, these two. Yeah, I like to say, I'm looking in chat here, back to Rigney there, saying Lionheart's she'll be back in 2025. I like to call it sabbatical. Not a hiatus, a sabbatical.
Taking a year out.
Yeah. Sabbatical indicates that you're doing learning on the side. So these two looking to pit right around this point, 120, and they will be good to go. And they won't have to save. They're both tucked in behind each other. They both going to make the turn down. No, Schaus is going to stay out for an extra lap. So just Forsyth. Now, in hindsight, going back to that 2002 race, the 2003 race, which also I was at that year, I was happy that Jill did win that race. Jill was very deserving of a 500 win, and I'm glad he got the win in 2003. I mean, could have very well closely been 3 in a row by Elio Castroneves, because Castroneves finished second that year. But as things worked out, I mean, if it wasn't for Castroneves winning in 2000, I would not have, or 2002, 2002, I wouldn't have been, I was in the crowd for his 4th win. So I would have never been able to witness that if Paul Tracy pulled off that win. So things happen for a reason. It's nice to be in the crowd and witness a 4-time winner happen. Because only 3 other groups of crowds can say they've seen that. Here comes Schaus.
And he comes in now. The way the 500 is now, it's really hard to pick out someone being that next dominant guy who could get 4.
Yeah, if Dario didn't have to retire, I think possibly Dario could have done it. He got 3.
Yeah.
And Schaus on pit road. This is battle for the lead now. Coming up, here comes Forsyth. Forsyth is out in front of everyone else. Of course, he had a shorter fill. He has himself a 1.3 second lead over Peterson, and he is running down Schaus now, who is on pit out. This might not even be close. Schaus now 1.3 second buffer, 1 second. Forsyth got a full head of steam down the backstretch. He's in the draft envelope. This might just be these two.
If you just allow Forsyth to slingshot past him, and then you just hang on and just hopefully.
Forsyth decides to go low. And Stouffer moving past Santos and Peterson to 3rd. Now these 3 got to work with one another to kind of catch these first 2. These first 2, they really race each other, and they have time if they want to cooperate. They have time. We're not in the closing stage. We are getting to the closing stage. We're not in the last 10 laps. They have I would say in the last 10 laps they should definitely race, but up until the last 10 laps they should try to work together and pull away from this group, and then they can decide it on their own. But go ahead. I'm sorry, you're trying to get a point in.
Yeah, because these are Schaus and Forsyth, they're the only 2 guys who could do a 3-stop. They don't have to worry. They could go flat out. If they could keep that second group away from them, they can't save enough fuel to try to make a 3-stop work.
There you have it.
Oh, but I don't think this second group of 3 aren't really working that well together. They are catching them, though.
G. Schaus, last time by, 2:17.7. Craig Forsyth, 2:18.4. Edson Santos, last time by, 2:18.4. Peterson, last time by. This is all in the battle of the draft, 2:18.6. Stouffer, 2:18.7. So now, really, the battle's going to come down to these 5. So we had at one point a group of 10, kind of got whittled down to 8, got whittled down to 7. Now we're kind of down to 5.
Man, it's going to be, we have 2 races at once. Like, the second group not only have to catch these 2, but they also have to save enough fuel to make it without having to stop again.
And then chat, Rigney's saying, is that Ryan with you? Yep, that's Ryan Eric King. Jalopnik.com, Ryan Eric King. Supposedly we might have the guys from Motorsport 101 watching. So if they're watching, shout out to them. But listen to him on that 3-stop analysis. Sounds spot on to me. So you passed the Rigney test. He says that's fair. We are on the late stages here of, once again, just joining us, this is RaceVerse coverage of Round 5 of the Dark Horse DW12 series coming to you from Michigan, where Eric Schaus, our points leader, is swapping the lead back and forth with Craig Forsyth. Schaus is the purple lap holder. I'm not sure when he turned it, but you can see by the purple number 1 next to his name on the tree. He is the purple lap holder. And he just lost it because Brubacher, JB, now has it. JB just turned a lap of 32.4. So we are coming to 20 to go. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on the next race. Got a week full of them. Once again, while we're watching these late stages, another shout out to 40 Racewear. Of course, their car leading the way here. Our longtime sponsor here of the 40 IndyCar, for the racing series, rather. Make sure to check out their made for sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel, and visit them at 40 Racewear. Their link is in the description. Let's do a real quick as we can through the field. The leaders are going to swap leads back and forth, so we're just going to consider that a given at the moment. But Peterson is third. This group of 3 are trying to do the bit of the same. They're slowly eating into the lead, but not as fast as they probably would like at the moment, but we still have time. And this is Peterson, Stouffer, Edson, Santos. Santos with fans in the chat, shouting him out. He's in contention, top 5. Mark Murphy and this other group back here with Murph Wagner, Matty Wagner, Charlie Teed. Also in there is Jim Herrick. He's fast, but unfortunately, the reason why he's back there is because he's fast. He was too fast on pit road. And so he is currently 14th, the first car 1 lap down. Would probably like to see a caution here. We have been caution-free, folks, the entire distance. There's Teed. Then back into 9th and 10th is DeCiro. DeCiro is your big gainer of the race. He is currently 9th, up 13 spots. And racing Pahutsky right there. Pahutsky's a little bit behind him. He's in 10th. And Yari Brubacher, also JB in this group. He's trying to... He's not had himself a good race. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him. He's fallen back. I know that some drivers might have strategically decided to fall back very early, and that's kind of what we were thinking, Ryan, when this race kind of started. We started to see packs develop, and maybe I think they were thinking that there would be a lot of close drafting. Big one would happen, and they would just avoid it. Well, like we said, we've gone caution-free, jinx, but that strategy early on did not pan out because they fell behind, and now they're too far behind, really. They do need a caution. Lee Kane is in 12th. And William Swinson, last car on the lead lap, in the 13th. I think some of these guys towards the back here, Swinson, Kane, maybe Yari, Pahutsky, DeCiro, they might have to stop one more time. Yeah, they all stopped at 106, 107, 108, 109 in there.
Yeah, you can't really make it far past 40 laps.
Yeah, the biggest that I've seen, Wagner and Murphy went 42 on their last stint. But back up to the lead, there is Schaus. And just a reminder, bring up the points one more time. Schaus is your leader. He's tied Wagner, so Wagner is back losing ground in the points championship, even though he has a top 10 secured at least right now. He is 6th. Santos in the top 5. He might make some ground up here. Stouffer in the top 5, probably make up some ground. Jari Brubacher, JB right there. He is probably going to be suffering the most here. Charlie Teed up in the top 10, making some way. But that is your top 10. Rafi, you're in there, man. You're going to have to make the next race, though. You're going to probably fall out the top 10. We'll see. Oh, car on the wall. And that
is a caution.
That's Pagero, and that's a caution. What happened? So Pagero following Brad Adams. Adams down low under the white line. Not sure what's going on here. They're racing each other. Into 3. Oh, I think Pagero might have had, the way that his car took off, he might have had a mechanical.
Yeah, looked like net code from heaven. Like,
watch this. Or did possibly he lose a tire? Because I was expecting the steering wheel to make a... Check this out again. I was expecting the steering wheel to make a hard right, and it never did. He was turning left. Did he lose a tire? So he starts pushing... Boom. It was an abrupt change of direction. That's what made me think that it might have been a mechanical. Very weird, but okay, so I did jinx this. We are now in our first caution. And Craig Forsyth, wow, interesting. He's running the very bottom of the racetrack. Did he have enough fuel to maybe make it? Peterson right there with him. But stopping is Schaus. Schaus is going to decide to put on new tires. They're on limited tires here in the rule set. So he is going to put on a new set of shots here. And we are in that period. I think we're in that period where he is going to be able to rejoin the field ahead of the lap cars.
Yeah, I think that'd be the key point. If you can restart the race out of the lap cars, I would take the fresh set of tires.
I'm showing my supplemental overlays kind of leaked into the other screen there, but yeah. All right. All right. So let's get back that again. We got the caution. Forsyth now is your leader, and I think he's trying to burn off fuel. Yes, he was definitely trying. There he is. So he has enough fuel. He has too much fuel. This tells us he has too much fuel. So what he's trying to do is burn off fuel. You can burn off fuel at a pretty rapid rate here in these Indy cars. If you clutch it and just nail the accelerator like he's doing right there, you can burn some fuel off. Now, it's not good for engine health, but if you don't do it for a long stint and very short stints like he's doing, you can burn off a little bit of weight in the car. Also, the other thing is make sure that before you disengage the clutch, that you're off the accelerator. So lights are out on the pace car. Let's reset. We're going to have a sprint to the finish here. 10-lap sprint. Craig Forsyth, your leader. Eric Peterson, P2. Christopher, P3. Those guys needed this caution to kind of catch those lead two. Same thing with Edson Santos. Eric Schaus has some lap cars in front of him, and I will get you those names. He has in front of him, before you get to Santos, AJ Hobson, Joseph DeCiro, Doug South, and Lee Kane. Those are all cars one lap down that he needs to get around in order for him to be in contact with Edson Santos for 4th spot. Matt Wagner right behind him. Mark Murphy right behind Wagner in 7th. Charlie Teed right there in 8th. Pahutsky, well, he needed this caution as well. He's kind of been in that second or third group all race long. He is now 9th. Yari, definitely, we know he's fast. He just set the purple number not too long ago, so he's in 10th. William Swinson is in 11th. Jim Herrick now back on the lead lap, getting I believe they have a lucky dog in this lead here. He's in 12th, back on the lead lap, so he's going to try to make a run for the front. But we're getting ready to go green. Everyone's lining up on the bottom except for Craig. Now he's assuming the position up against the wall. Pace car is down, and we're going to see who runs this last 20 miles and comes out on top. A lot of lap traffic here in the middle of this battle for the top 5. Here we go. Green flag WAP 140. And he's trying to break the draft already. Craig Forsyth. Schaus down to the bottom side, getting around Kane. Now he's going to get around to Ciro, and he's using the draft of Doug South, who went to the bottom. But now he gives him room on the bottom. He get around South. He can't lose this lead draft. He absolutely cannot lose this lead draft. He needs to keep his foot in it. Wagner to the bottom, 4 wide, going into 1. Wagner's like, screw it, I got the position. Matty Wagner with the ballsy move with the lap traffic in the way. And Craig Forsyth to the bottom, protecting the IndyCar line. Eric Peterson up top. The Fuzzy's car is a lap car trying to stay out of the way. The 4 cars below him all on the lead lap. And Santos. He's to the inside. Is this going to be a caution? It's going to be a caution. I don't think it is.
No, they did not throw the caution.
He needs to tow that if he can. I don't think he's going to be able to drive it. No, don't cause a caution. Don't cause. Just tow it. Just tow it. Yeah.
Now they're coming back around.
Here we go, 3 wide. Mark Murphy's now part of this. Here comes Schaus on the high side, 4 wide at the top. Oh, yes. What a formation. If Dark Horse needs a screenshot for future publicity shots, that is one of them right there. Murphy glued to the bottom, glued to the rear of Craig Forsyth. Murph all of a sudden not in this much in the second of the third stint. Now all of a sudden is in this thanks to that caution. He's going to stay on the bottom. Peterson racing up top, doesn't have anyone to help him. Stouffer up top, doesn't have anyone to help him. And I think Schaus is going to go up to the top, go 4 wide again. Oh, we're one twitch away from a big one happening again, guys. 3 wide behind the leader, going into 3. Coming to 5 to go.
Gotta be really aware of your surroundings, aware of your car.
Oh, Matt Wagner, here he is. He's got a run on the top. Yeah, exactly. And listen to your spotter. And I know some cars that are a lap down that are in this group that want to be kind of racing, but really with 5 to go, they should probably duck out of this thing. But that's just my opinion. Just my opinion. We'll let these guys race it out. Race control can handle that. Teed. That's Peterson, excuse me. Teed's now involved in this battle. He's about 5th or 6th now. Up to the top side goes Stouffer. I don't think anyone's going to really beat Forsyth at the bottom. We'll see this time by if Murph, with 5 to go, can get the lead at the line.
Yeah, and if we cross the line one more time, next caution will end the race.
And Murph is on new tires, where Forsyth is on 26-lap old tires, and he's trying to hold the bottom.
Well, that's the key for Forsyth. He's gonna need the clean air. He'll have grip as long as he has clean air. If someone gets
Forsyth at the line. Yeah, you're right. Forsyth at the line. 0.031 is the difference. 4 wide coming into 3 and 4. Nice thing about Michigan, there's about five. You can go about 5 wide if you want to. There's 5 different lanes. Here comes Murph. Murph decided to leave his spot on the bottom. Didn't think he was going to go anywhere. Or he was actually atop of Forsyth. Wasn't going anywhere. Decides to tuck back in, go up even higher now into the 3rd lane. Forsyth down on the bottom, hogging that white line. No one will get underneath him. Here's Eric Schaus on the high side. Not give him a lot of room to arc this corner. Oh, Stouffer slides up in front of Teed. Oh. Here comes Schaus at the line. They said Schaus at the line that time. Murph, no place to go. Thought about going between Schaus and Stouffer.
4 wide for the lead.
4 wide for the lead once more. Tell the Dark Horse guys, there's your screenshot right there for next year's thumbnail. He goes Peterson to the top now. Trying to get a bit of a run on Schaus. Schaus crowding Forsyth, so Forsyth can't really arc in. He's going to have a very shallow entry. Stouffer getting moved around. Probably a little buffeting wind going on in there. 2 cars a lap down in this group here. Hysong and who else we got a lap down? Hobson. South are involved in this one, but not involved for the win. Also, Cyril, and Peterson. What happened?
I am speechless. That was the last lap. That was where...
What happened? I want to watch that again. We got to watch that last lap again. So here comes Peterson. Oh, Stouffer just side checks him. Oh, I don't think he meant that. But down on the apron.
That was first car across the line was Forsyth.
And I'd like to let everyone watch that. Actually, let's watch that last lap again. Just everyone watch it again. We were doing a lot of talking. Just watch these last couple laps again one more time without us talking. Okay, here's a white flag lap. And there it is.
What a finish.
And so I think we got Stouffer that finished 3rd, so we'll get him up here first. But we will bring up the slow-mo here first. And there we go. So we will bring up I just got one more time to do the final standings, and then we'll get into the interview room. We were doing a lot of talking to make sure that everyone saw that finish. But once again, let's do the final standings here at Michigan. And let's get those on here. Whoop, here we go. Craig Forsyth, 3 stops, 33 laps. He's one of the few 3-stoppers, as we talked about. Eric Schaus, P2, Christopher, P3. There you see all of the margins. So Schaus loses, or Craig Forsyth wins by 0.016, and then Stouffer 0.060. So against very typical IndyCar racing at Michigan here is very, very close races, close finishes. Mark Murphy in a one-off here. Hopefully we'll see more of him. Led 31 laps. Maybe even improved the position there. It should be mentioned Schaus improved 7 positions. But Murph finishes 4th. Wagner 5th. Teed 6th. Peterson 7th, getting sidekicked here at the end there, but he does cross the start-finish line. Brubacher kind of recovers, which he wasn't really in the top 10 all race long, but that last caution helped him out. Finishes 8th. Swinson 9th. Herrick 10th. That's a good recovery for Jim. Pahutsky is 11th. South 12th. Heisung 13th. Hobson 14th. DeCiro 15th. DeCiro made up 7 spots. Elmer Joseph 16th. 17th, King. Pagero, 18th. Santos, 19th, unfortunately, with that late incident that he had. Brian Adams, 20th. Gary Corley, 21st. And Aaron Hobart, 22nd. And I had to restart the overlay at one point in the middle of this thing, so sorry about that. Anyways, let's get to the interview room. And let's see, we got finishing 3rd is Stouffer, so we will go grab him from the 40 Racewear room and bring him into the broadcast. Hopefully, he's not mid-sentence. We'll see here. We'll bring him on down. Christopher, we got you here. Hopefully we didn't have you mid-sentence there with your teammates. We just grabbed you out of your channel. Congratulations on the 3rd place podium. Very, very close. 0.060 was the margin of between you and 1st place. So close, but in the grand scheme of things, yet so far. Talk about your race.
Well, majority of the race was just trying to save fuel.
Yeah.
Make sure that once we pitted that last time, we could drive as hard as we needed to, hard as you wanted, to the end. And, so we got to that point, and, Craig and them was up front swapping, I think Eric, and we're trying to swap back there. We really needed that 3rd person to gain that extra little bit of momentum and speed going down. And I think we would have caught him, had it gone green, because we were running him down about a second a lap when we had it. When we had that 3-way kind of swap draft thing working. But in the end of the day, we got the caution, and then of course we got the mad dash to the finish, and it was exactly that. It was like, where do you put the car? I'm teammates with Craig, so I said, when that happened, I was like, well, congratulations. You just have to hold the right line. Hopefully I can get a podium out of this. And it was just, you're just trying to find somewhere to put your car. Sometimes I was forcing it 3 wide, and then somebody was coming up on my outside, forcing it 4 wide. And then next lap, I'd be tucked in behind, Craig on the bottom of the track. And, it was just, it was kind of mayhem all over. Big apology to Eric there at the end, because I thought for sure I had a car like that. It looked like I had a car. I could stick my car in there, but I made the move. It was very aggressive, and I ended his race, and that's very disappointing to me. I feel like he should be here. I it kind of taints the third place big time for me, and I don't feel like I've earned it now because of that. But you know, it was a fun race. I'll say that it was a fun race nonetheless.
All right, well, tainted or not, we still offer our congratulations. You had the drive to survive. You made it. So that is worth something. A great race, a great show that you put on for us. So try to enjoy it if you can. And we will catch you in the week at the next one at Gateway.
Yeah, sounds good. And, shout out to my teammate Craig and 40racewear.com. Again, Eric, I'm sorry for what happened there at the end. Hopefully you forgive me. I don't mean to do that. I never want to wreck anyone. So, thank you guys in the booth for broadcasting. And, hopefully, we put on a good show. I know about 137 laps of it was probably
we had lots we had other stuff that we had to talk about.
Yeah, we had plenty of time to cover all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Sure. But thank you guys again and
No
everybody
problem.
for the league. So it's a fun league. I look forward to this. And yes.
All right. Congrats. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you at the next one.
Thank you.
A little down on himself, but understanding that sometimes drivers pride themselves in their not the contact. I don't think he meant Eric. I think he meant Peterson.
Eric Peterson.
Eric Peterson. Okay, yeah, I thought he meant Eric Schaus, but Eric Peterson. So yeah, Peterson was looking at a good finish there, and then we hate to see it as well. But that is the nature of, I hate to say it, draft racing, pack racing, kind of in these cars. Let's bring down Eric Schaus. He's in his live stream channel, and we'll bring him down into the booth. Hey, Eric, I got you here in the booth with Gary and Ryan. Congratulations on the P2. You and Craig look like you really had the strategy going into this thing. You kind of were out there the longest on every single stint. You hit that number. So in that last stint after you guys came off pit road, you guys didn't have to save, while some other people kind of had to save. And then the caution came, and then the inevitable came with that big pack race fight to the end. I'm sure you didn't really want that. I'm sure you rather would have had it, you and Forsyth fighting it out the end, but you finished second nevertheless, and that's a good points day, because coming into this race, you were the co-points leader. Coming out of this race, you're going to be the leader.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night. Like you said, it was fuel save for a lot of it. I think Craig and I were both in the same mindset. And I thought we had it there until that caution came out. I thought it was just going to be me and him. So I definitely would have preferred that, but it led to an exciting finish. So, I'll take that. I decided to gamble on tires there at the end. I figured I wouldn't drop too far. I heard a lot of guys in Discord talking about how they were going to take tires. So I figured, that might jump me up a couple spots if I go ahead and dive in. And sure enough, that worked out pretty well. I just didn't have quite enough there to hold Craig down and take the win. He earned it.
Well, it's a pretty exciting show you put on for us. Even watching the strategy was pretty exciting as well. Any shout outs anybody want to say hi to? And then the points are out, and I'm going to look at the points here while you're doing that, and I'll let you know what the situation is when you're done with your shout outs.
Well, yeah. Thanks to you guys in the booth. I look forward to watching the last 15 laps of this race. That was exciting. Thanks to the league for putting us on, all the admins. Thanks for the viewers out there. I appreciate it all.
Well, you got it, and you are the points leader by 20 over Matt Wagner. Excellent. Right now, going into Gateway. So now we're in the part of the season where there's no more breaks. So the marathon is on. I hope you have your marathon legs ready to go, because that's a long haul. And right now you're in the best position, but still a long way to go.
It is. I'm ready for it.
All right. We'll drag you back up to your channel. Congratulations, and we'll catch you at the next one.
Thank you.
If I can get him up to his channel. Let me try move to. I was going to throw you into a channel and have him figure it out. Oh, he moved out anyways. Okay, all right. So we figured it out. I could have for some reason take him back up to Charlie's live stream channel. Anyways, let's bring down Craig Forsyth, our winner here, and get his take. I'm sure he's going to be excited. Hey, Craig, congratulations. You had a good night last night. You had an even better day today. Congratulations on the win. Slimmest of margins, but you know what they say at Michigan. If it's inches, it might as well be a mile. You are the winner. Congratulations. You were also, we were watching your fuel strategy. You had it pay off right the way you needed it to. So we were watching you all race long, seeing it develop. And if it was going to finish green, you guys were in the hot catbird seat. But unfortunately, it didn't come out that way, and you had to do the old shootout.
Yeah, I knew I knew it was going to come down to, if it stayed green, it was going to come down between Eric and I, just because we were the two that had gone the longest on fuel all the stints. So we were going to have basically you can really make time those last 2 or 3 laps during the pit cycle as guys are pitting in, because you just dial it up and go as fast as you can, and you can usually eke out an extra second out of that if you time it right. So coming out and seeing that Eric and I had the just over a second advantage, it was like, knew we needed to immediately start leapfrogging to maintain that. And I think they were catching us by hundredths, but who knows? Then the caution sort of negated all that, at which point it became protect the bottom time. And wow, I'm just watching everyone come across the line right now, and that was some tight racing.
Yeah, I mean, you were not in the advantage spot being down there at the bottom with those old tires. I mean, you were at the disadvantage, and you just managed to hang on. And I mean, Schaus was racing you fairly, but he was giving you no room on corner entry. I mean, all your turns into 3 and 4 coming down the backstretch were pretty shallow. I mean, were you worried about those tires lasting, being able to get you to that win, or did you think that Schaus would eventually just wear you out and take you on the top side and kind of eke you out at the line?
Actually, the tires had not been bad the whole stint. I think we could have run the entire race on the same set of tires.
Wow.
But my worry was someone setting up a big run. I figured Chris back in third, those guys back there, anyone who got given the room to set up a 2-car draft run would have the momentum coming into 3 to slingshot around. So it was basically on the bottom, you're trapped. There's nothing you could do. You just got to hope that doesn't happen to you. And luckily, no one, with everyone fighting and scrambling for the positions. I think if there had been a couple guys in a row on the same team, working with each other, they could have totally set up a slingshot around the outside coming down the back straight, which I would have been, helpless to prevent. They would have been able to go around me on the outside and drop down coming out of 4. But luckily that did not happen. So heck yes, we got to do a burnout.
Well, and speaking of teams, a good team day, first and third, and at one point you and Chris and Jim were kind of all part of the lead pack, and it was kind of the 4D guys leading the way while everyone else was kind of following. So I mean, Jim looks like he might have sped coming to pit road, but he recovered pretty nicely to 10th. So in terms of a team day, not too bad. All 3 of you guys in the top 10. Yeah,
it's coming into on the first pit cycle. I think it was Gary clipped the grass coming into pit lane, and he because once he hit the grass, he couldn't brake in time, and he ended up rear-ending me. So I had to burn my fast repair at that point. Luckily, just like he basically smacked my back end, broke my suspension, but the car still was able to keep going in a straight line. I had the wheel at like 45 degrees, but still. So I was able to get to my pit box. But after that, I think he hit Charles, and then that caused Jim to speed. So that's how Jim got the speeding penalty. It was just the little carnage of having 4 guys all pitting at once. Or it might have even been 5 guys.
That's too bad. Yeah, that's too bad.
So Jim was going around just hoping like heck for a caution, and Chris and I were hoping like heck not to have a caution. So we had a little team argument going on there at that point. But Jim got what he wanted. He got the caution, but it was too late at that point.
Team owners typically get what they want eventually after a while.
He just didn't have the laps. I mean, with only 9 laps left to go, and there wasn't enough time to get through the pack.
Well, congratulations on the win. This is let me look here at the point standings. You are now up to 7th. You gained 10 spots with the win. It is only your second start in the series, so I know you kind of got some other things going on. So, hey, man, a couple more of these, you'll be right in the thick of it. But shout outs, anybody you want to say hi to before we let you go?
No, yeah, I got really lucky. The previous league I was in, the race ended with 2 minutes to go in qualifying. It was literally I just as fast as I could possibly load up this session to get into it. So that was lucky on that part. No, I got to thank Jim over at 40 Racewear. I mean, it's sponsor for the car. Great guy. I mean, we had Chris and Jim and me all in the chat there talking the whole race, going through strategy, going through fuel, working on fuel numbers, and that's we were basically throwing fuel numbers back and forth at each other, trying to figure out when the best time was to pit. So it's good to have those guys to discuss your pit strategy and make sure that you're not missing something. When you're going through those type of calculations, when you're in the race, and it's a lot harder to be your own crew chief when you're also having to focus on driving the car.
Right. How'd you finish in the race before?
Well, after I crashed on lap 1,
okay,
and my 5 minutes of repairs.
Okay, all right. Say no more.
So this is a much better result.
I was about to say, you're coming off a doubleheader, but you kind of came off a doubleheader. But the first one might as well have been a rain delay after wrecking up for wreck 1 or lap 1. But at least your night ends a lot better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I could say the one saving grace was that I only took myself out, and it was completely my fault. And so when I turned my brain off at a road course, I really turned my brain off at a road course. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, congratulations. You guys with 40s or 40 Racewear are a good group of guys in the squad. So we always like seeing you guys do well. We like seeing Jim and his team do well as well. They've been the big supporters of right here at RaceVerse and the league. So much congrats to you guys. And we'll maybe see you at the next one. Maybe not. Depends on how you end the race before.
Exactly.
Although if it's the league I'm thinking of, I don't think you guys have any more conflicts between now and I think that's it.
Nothing till May.
Maybe we'll see you at the next one at Gateway, which Gateway is giving me PTSD for all weekend long because I've called 4 races there this weekend, and I have a 5th race I need to call at Gateway on Tuesday, and then there's a 6th race, which is this coming next Sunday. So I've had my fill of Gateway. I'm kind of tired of it right now.
I don't know, Gary. I seem to have good luck at Gateway, so I'm looking forward to it.
There you hear it. So he's looking forward to next week. Craig Forsyth with the win. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Ryan.
And he says exactly what I say about Gateway, Ryan. I hate Gateway too, and I got 2 career wins there. I can't figure it out.
I got my first career win at Gateway, but I've also walled Flynn Lazier at Gateway. It is up and down.
Oh, the kid of Buddy Lazier. All right, well, we know him on the IAR team. I'll put in a good word for you, and he'll forgive you. But so this season now, Santos wins the first race at Kansas. Schaus wins at Pocono, and last week at Homestead. Christopher wins at Iowa. Craig Forsyth wins at Michigan. So we're 5 races, 4 different winners, 1 repeat with Schaus winning at Pocono and Homestead. Next week is Gateway. Unfortunately, this is the last time we're together for the rest of the season, unless the Catalyst has an issue between now and the end of the season. Your thoughts on the early part of the season? What do you think of this league, and what do you think of Gateway with these cars going forward, since you seem to be a bit of a Gateway expert as well?
It is an interesting mile oval, obviously famously egg-shaped. DW12 there, I've never raced this car there, but with the amount of downforce these cars produce, it should be an entertaining race. Considering that I won't be in the box next week, I might be in the race next week.
Oh, you're here to hear. Ryan Eric King might actually bring the car out of the hauler. All right, well, we'll see. I'll welcome it. Of course, since you called RaceVerse races, you're eligible to put the RaceVerse logo anywhere on the car you want. So.
Ooh, I'll keep that in mind. It'll be
if you have an empty sponsor slot somewhere. I know you have lots of people sponsoring you.
I can't wait. It's either I'll be on track or I'll be watching, but I'll definitely be around.
Well, next week is Dynasty as well, so it's going to interrupt with another wrestling point of view, pay-per-view, but we could survive. We just don't look at Twitter for the next hour while we do the race, you know.
Yeah, it's possible.
Well, we hope to see you in the lineup, but man, thanks for being the super sub for the early part of this season. The Catalyst Andrew Wood will be joining me again next week, but special thanks to you, man. Can't do it without you. Thanks a lot.
Oh, no problem. Always love being on.
So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Michigan, Greg Forsythe with the narrowest of all wins. But like I said, when you win here at Michigan by a few tenths, you might as well be by a mile or more, because that's sometimes as close as far as they're going to be. So he is your winner with the difference of victory, a .016 over second place Eric Schaus, and .060 over Chris Stouffer in third. Join the Catalyst, Andrew Wood and myself again next week for round 6 of the Dark Horse DW12 series as the teams and drivers head to Gateway. Coverage begins, of course, around 8 o'clock Eastern PM. Yeah, excuse me, if I told you I cannot talk today, man. 8 p.m. Eastern time, of course, that's 8 p.m. Eastern. As always, you can find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceVerse. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceVerse with the weekly grind and leave a comment below and let us know your thought of tonight's race. And we want to thank everyone in the show up in the chat today. It's been a very active chat. We thank you very much. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. So very simple, guys. Just a thumbs up if you can already. And we know that there's a lot of you that are watching that aren't subscribers. There's about 40% of you. So all you do, click the subscribe button, turn it gray, click the bell. We'll let you know when the next race is. Easy peasy, just like that. That's all you need to do. It's free. We're not even charging for it. It's free. Do it. But we keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceVerse, we know what Indy means. Dark Horse DW12 series is helped brought to you by 4D Racewear and their race-winning car today. They finished first and third on the podium. 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. In order to finish on the podium here at Dark Horse, you need to be wearing 4D gear. That's how it is, right? But visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on our link in today's description for business inquiries and learn more about what we do. Here's our Twitter at the bottom of the screen. You can follow us all on Twitter. You can visit raceverse.com or like us on Facebook. That's all you have to do. So for Ryan Eric King, everyone at RaceVerse, I'm Gary Gatto saying to all, happy Sunday. Thanks for watching. And to all our men and women serving in the military as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe, guys. Catch us again right here next week in Gateway for the next race of the Dark Horse DW12 series. Good night.